Hey, this is Jamie with Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanisms in our newest expansion, Wingspan Asia. Wingspan Asia isn't actually just an expansion, it's also a standalone game for 1 to 2 players. And one of my favorite mechanisms in the game, or in the expansion, is related to that 2-player mode specifically. Elizabeth came up with this mode called the Duet mode. Elizabeth Hargrave, the designer of Wingspan. And in the Duet mode, it's designed specifically for 2-player play, and you use a new board that we haven't seen in Wingspan before that Elizabeth created specifically for this mode. And I love that she came up with this. We talked about the idea of designing a 2-player only version of Wingspan as part of this expansion, but I had no idea what she would do with it. And she came back with this map here that you populate with tokens as you are playing birds. And so one of the most fun things to me in Wingspan is playing bird cards and also kind of running through the engine of those bird cards. But the act of playing the bird card is really satisfying to me. I'm adding a new bird to my collection. And this board makes that feel even better because whenever you play a bird card in the Duet mode, you take a token, a specific token to your player color, and you place it on one of these spots. And so if I play a bird in my forest habitat, I would place a token on one of these slots that are available in the forest area of the Duet board. And the place where I put it has to correspond to something that was on the bird when I played it. So for example, if I used a rodent, if I paid a rodent to play that bird, this space is eligible. I could put a token on this space. And you're choosing one space to put your special token. Same if I have this nest type on that bird, I could put the token there instead, and so on. And some of these even have little bonuses. So if I used an invertebrate, a bug, if I paid one of those to play the bird, then you can see right there, I get a little bonus. I get a food from the bird feeder. And what you're trying to do here is a couple different things. One is you're trying to connect as many of these as possible because you get 1 point for your biggest connected group at the end of the game. So extra points for playing birds feels really good. Trying to have this kind of the spatial element on this map, that feels good. Also, the round goals are a little bit different here. There's a special set of goals specifically for the Duet mode, and every round you're competing with just the other player over these goals. Again, this is designed for kind of more interaction between 2 players when you're playing a 2-player game without Wingspan becoming a mean game. So you're competing over these spaces to be the first to get to these spaces a little bit, and you're competing over being the best at these goals, which are all related to these spaces as well on this little map. And also, as a little backup over here, if at any time you don't see a space up here that's appealing, or maybe you play a bird in the wetlands, but none of the spaces are eligible for where you're playing that bird, you can always put a token down in this box, anywhere in this box. And on your turn, on a future turn, you can remove one of those tokens to either refresh the card row or refill the bird feeder, refresh and refill the bird feeder. So it's kind of just a little backup option and a way for players to reset things if they really need a reset. All in all, I love the Duet mode. I really like it. I play Wingspan quite a bit just as 2 players, and having this new board really brings it to life. I do like how Wingspan plays just with 2 players normally, but the Duet mode in particular, I really, really enjoy. I'm so glad that Elizabeth thought of this. The one other mechanism that I want to mention, there's a lot of stuff going on in this expansion. You can see all the details in the design diary post. But I do also really love that Elizabeth added a push your luck mini game to some of the cards in Wingspan Asia. So we have some cards here. I'll flash them up at the screen, then I'll show you them in particular. So there are some push your luck abilities here. I'll give you an example of that so you can see what it means. So for example, I'll read the Forest Owlet because it's very similar to the Brahminy Kite here. So the Forest Owlet says, and actually I'll read the Brahminy Kite text. It says, when activated, choose any, the Brahminy Kite says 3 dice, the Owlet says 2 dice, choose any 3 dice. So one thing about Wingspan Asia, whenever it says choose any dice, it means that you can choose dice that are in or out of the bird feeder. Roll them up to 3 times. Each time, if you roll at least one, and I'm reading again, I'll read from the kite, one fish or one rodent, cache 1 here. If not, stop and return all food cached here this turn. So you're rolling these dice, and so potentially you can add 3 points to this bird whenever you activate it, which is really powerful. Every time you activate it, you can gain 3 more points. But you have this little push your luck mini game. So if you roll these 3 dice for the kite, and say you hit a fish or a rodent, it doesn't matter how many you hit, you're only getting a maximum of 1 point added to the bird in the form of a cached food. Say you hit it. Do you stop there or do you keep going? Do you do it one more time to try to get 2 points? Do you try to get 3 points? And every time you roll, you're risking losing all the tokens that you would have gained that turn. So I love push your luck in games, and so I love this little push your luck mini game that these cards add. I'll give you one more example, the Eurasian Marsh Harrier. So this is when activated up to 3 times, draw 1 bird card from the deck. When you stop, if the bird's total wingspan is less than 110 centimeters, very precise there, tuck them behind this bird. If not, discard them. Again, this choice, 1 card at a time. So you draw that first card, it's probably going to be less than 110 centimeters. But then how high is that wingspan? Do you draw again? Do you choose to draw again? As you can tell, I'm getting excited by this because I love push your luck in games. And the stakes are fairly low because it doesn't affect your engine building. It's only affecting the points at the end of the game. So I'm really excited to play with these cards more and more often. Yeah, those are probably my 2 favorite mechanisms in the game. There is a lot more going on in terms of the flock mode, which is the large group mode for Wingspan Asia. There are plenty more creative cards that Elizabeth came up with for this expansion. But I really love the duet mode, and I really love these push your luck cards. Let me know when you've played Wingspan Asia what your favorite mechanisms are in the comments below. Thanks.